to flip those pretty quickly. So that's the goal.
Okay, great. Thank you for throwing it nice. I'll talk to you in the shed. We can grab crates from the house. We have some in there, but just to start keeping.
They're still good.
Obercreek is a small operation nestled into a small neighborhood that is pretty radical, I think, in its location. We're not in a rural area, and yet we have 9 acres of farmland that is preserved, that is going to be here forever, that we're just trying to use to serve the surrounding area. And our focus is really on our accessible communities. Like it's all within, all of our businesses within 60 minutes. And that's the goal. That's the focus. And we're tucked away back here, and you may not know, but we're still pumping stuff out into the world. So, and it's a beautiful area.
Absolutely, and then as people learn more about Obercreek, you learn not only do we have this farm stand, which is definitely one of the first things a lot of people encounter about Obercreek. We have this brewery, we have the pizza oven at the brewery. A lot of times when folks come to visit, they then walk up the hill, they see our greenhouses, our tomatoes, and some of our fields. And the more, sometimes I think about Obercreek sort of like an onion, the more that you get to know, there's layers and layers to peel back. We have folks building these new houses on the lots around the farm. All of them overlook the farm in some way. We're really happy to have all these new neighbors. Of course, we live on the farm and some other folks as well. So it's its own little community tucked away in another little community. I was born into farming. It's not always what I thought I was going to do. But then I realized that I am happiest on the farm. I worked for a little while in agriculture policy and was pretty frustrated by the amount of people in ag policy who hadn't had that hands-on experience. So I wanted to stay on the farm, and then I discovered I'm really happiest doing the day-to-day farm work. I really love getting to talk to people about where their food comes from, and that's probably my individual mission around farming is educating people about where their food comes from, what that looks like, and what goes into that. And beyond that, I also love that every day I get to learn something new with farming.
I grew up in the suburbs and got exposed to farming in college, and then kind of took it from there. But I realized that I liked working outside, and pretty quickly once I started farming, I recognized that this was work that I loved doing, and especially towards the end of the season when you really see a lot of things coming in out of the fields. It's a pretty good feeling to know that all this work goes into food and not something intangible.
I got into farming about 4 years ago. I've been working in farming for about 3 years. During the pandemic, I kind of had to figure out what brings me joy and what's really fueling me and keeping me going and serving me. And I found that farming is just everything to me. I really love being able to talk to people about where their vegetables come from and what we're doing here and the importance of organic and fresh local produce.
I'm excited about how much we're planning to grow this season. I'm looking forward to our early tomatoes again this year. We're also adding cut flowers, and we're intending to have them be, you can pick out which flowers you like best, and we're not going to make bouquets for you. And then the return of some customer favorites like cherry tomatoes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the goal for this year is a little bit more diversity within crop families. So what we're looking for is color and form and beauty, and so not just branching away from sort of standard things that we had been doing and experimenting with a little bit more variety this season. The ways in which we approach growing food. I mean, it's about ecological responsibility, primarily, and it's not just like a list of tools and methods. It's also it's an attitude about things that like works with the natural world in a way that is it's, I don't know, I don't want to say that we don't demand things of the earth, but we both demand and accept what we get, and so it's an interesting way to explain it, but
And do our best to give back.
and do our best to give back. Yeah, that's really vegetables aside, like it's about the cycle. It's about like as good soil as we can produce, that will the vegetables will be there, you know, and so like it's really about starting that like biological engine and keeping that going, and then the vegetables can, you know, sort of take care of themselves, but to a certain degree. But
That's why you're here, just to make sure.
Yeah, it was just maintenance, you know. But that's the approach. It's you know, biologically focused, and it can seem like maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's, you know, like that we're certified. Maybe it's, you know, there are plenty of like maybe it's not as important. Like, isn't everybody just sort of like doing the same things and it's all like nice, and like that is true to a degree, but I think it makes a difference to me, at least, to know that like that when I see a farm that has that USDA label, or for us NOFA-New York is our certifier, when it has the NOFA-New York label, like I know as a consumer, I know, you know, what that means, and that represents a set of values to me that I can see clearly in that label. Yeah, I guess I would want, like, we're here in this pocket. We have Beacon, we have Newburgh, we have you know, southern Poughkeepsie. We have these are our close communities, and these are our customers, and that's who we want to be our customers. We're not interested in at least at this point, we're not interested in going to New York City. We're not even interested in driving, you know, further down into Westchester County, like which isn't to say that maybe in the future we won't be, but for right now, that, you know, it's Newburgh, Poughkeepsie, and Beacon. Like that's who we want. Seasons ago, we did the Newburgh Farmers Market, and that was great. And this season, we've just done the Beacon Market and the Hastings Farmers Market, but we also sell a little bit, especially during the winter, into the Newburgh Farmers Market, so that there's greens available, or more greens available. And yeah, that makes us really happy to be able to participate in everything that Common Ground is doing and supporting, but also have our stuff cross the river into Newburgh, and then down the street. It's just miles away.
Started at Obercreek at the end of the fall, and I saw a listing for farmers market attendance with the possibility of being on the field crew. And one of my favorite things is being able to talk to the community and the people around me about farming and about organic food and produce and everything. And so I saw it as the perfect opportunity to be able to do something I really love.
Don't make it weird.
No, I would write a love note to you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I couldn't be doing this without you. So there you go.
Oh, thanks. Same, and also almost everybody that I've farmed with over the years, I've met some really, really amazing people from so many different backgrounds, made really good friends. Both of us have, from everywhere we've worked. We met each other through farming, and yeah, same. We couldn't do this with just either one of us. Okay, so we've got our spinach that was just fresh harvested from the greenhouse. We've put it in this first tank of water here. We've looked around, picked out any leaves that are not so great looking. Anything like these, the cotyledons, which is actually baby spinach, totally fine to eat, but we don't want in the bag for you. After it's been moved around a little bit and gotten the dirt off of it, we use this pool skimmer. We pick it up, we do another look at anything we might not want in there. It gets moved into the second tank of clean water where it gets a second bath. So then from the second tank here, we're gonna use the pool skimmer again, give the spinach another look, and then it goes in the basket. And once we get enough in the basket, we're gonna put it in the green spinner, which spins all the water out of it, and then the greens are ready to bag. Okay, then we put the basket here in the spinner. These spinners are a little temperamental, so we always wanna make sure the basket's in there nice and snug. This is my favorite part of greens washing. And then we spin them for 3 minutes. Cross your fingers. For 3 minutes, the greens are done spinning. They're nice and dry. We pull this basket out. These get dumped into a nice clean crate here. And then they're gonna go over to Nathasha, who is ready to bag up greens. There we go.
Take me high